Good morning. Getting wired up here. Phone plugged in. There we go. Got that. Some ambiance. Oh, and I should check to see that my audio is being picked up today. Yesterday I spoke for an hour and nobody could hear me. There we go. And we will proactively shut off all the other devices. And we don't want like a Windows update to smush us. Oop, too far. Reminder to self, do not shut off wife's internet. There we go. Hey, good morning, everyone. Get going. So yes, I did spend a little bit extra time last night trying to get this buttoned up a touch. Hey, wait, do I even have Godot running? I do. Okay. Good. There. I wanted to see that Godot could have a decent workflow for packaging builds and stuff like that too. So basically, I got the scene change working. Give you a look at what changed. The big one, which we'll get to in a moment, was pretty substantial. It was, I'll save that for a couple moments. But I finished up this invoke defer, or this deferred stuff. This is really long syntax for actually invoking functions on other objects, like dynamically invoking functions on other objects. And so I created this invoke deferred invoke, just implemented those on Node. Simple enough. So we have something that can take a Godot string, or that can be converted into a Godot string. And if we have debug assertions enabled, I'm basically in debug mode, we check to see that the function exists. And if it doesn't exist, we spit something out in panic because, well, if you make a spelling mistake, things aren't all that great. Oh, trying to invoke, let's say invoke deferred. And we panic. Panic doesn't really do anything, and that disappoints me. I think it actually crashes a thread or something in Godot, but it doesn't bring the whole thing down. Something's going on, but for the chat I had with them in Discord, they know. Oh. Actually, let's see. Yeah. We have to call deferred. Still this get type node stuff. So I added that. I don't think it's going to be used very often. It's for these dynamic invocations, and I don't have many of those. One of them we're using in Bootstrap. So we have to go to scene. That's how I got around being able to get a hold of a Bootstrap node here. But what's interesting about this is I'm getting the node here, but not the script that's attached to the node. I did a little bit more reading. And you have nodes, and then you have scripts that are attached to the nodes, pretty much just like you have in Godot. And so if we come back to Godot, no, you guys can't see my mouse in here, but on the right here, you have a node. In this case, we'll call it Bootstrap, and Godot isn't wired up. Give me a moment. There we go. I know, sorry about the black screen. Could have checked this. There it is. Okay, so on the right, we have Bootstrap, and then there's a little script icon. So this little button there on the far right. And so you have scripts that are basically attached to nodes. I want to see if I can find a way to get a hold of the script attached to the node as opposed to the node itself. I think that would give me access to Bootstrap. So I want to try to do that a little bit today. One of the other things that fixed the whole thing in that Bootstrap wasn't running because it wasn't registered as a class. And there was no feedback in Godot saying, hey, you're trying to register something that doesn't exist. So that's more or less a like a checklist item when going through and building these things out, making sure that you actually add the class to be exported. Also in Discord, I asked them about this, and they said it's a known issue. Issue number 350. Plans to fix this with automatic registration. So eventually they're going to just automatically register these things instead of you having to remember to do this extra little dance there, which is good. I like that. And there I go. I'm showing the wrong thing. I was looking at this here. I had forgotten to register the class, and Godot wasn't able to use it. So where are we at the moment? Let's go back to Godot. Try to run this. Okay. You can't see a little preview window up there. Make this bigger for a moment. You can see that it actually changed scenes, and we went from Bootstrap to the welcome screen, or whatever it is, and it has little hello text in it, which is great. Okay, turn that off. Okay. So today, we're going to try to make a little bit more progress. I wanted to first check and see if we could, instead of doing this, check to see if we can get the script attached to the node. I wanted to look a little bit at their documentation. So coming back over here, it's going to be GitHub White. GitHub White screen. All right, so they have documentation, and for those of you that weren't around yesterday, we ended up starting to rewrite the client using Rust code inside of Godot. We're going to look at the API docs, reference counting, manually managed objects, etc. We're going to go take a look at some of their base objects. they have object, which everything extends from. Add user signal, call deferred. So this is what I'm actually using for call or invoke and invoke deferred. Okay, good. Browser is actually showing today. At class, that should just be a string. Well, what's indexed? Meta? Oh, you can get the script. Okay, that's interesting. Let's go look at the Godot docs on that. Object, methods. Returns object script instance or null if none is assigned. Great. And that's a resource. That looks pretty fancy. Path and autoload. Not a node or script. Oh, yeah. Get rid of that. Alright, so back here, looks like it's going to give us an option reference we call getScript. What does this reference give us? And this has cast T where T is Godot object. That doesn't help us. What about to object? Upcast. Oh, I don't think that's going to help us either. Yeah, getting the script and just having a reference to whatever our class is isn't all that helpful. All right. That's interesting. It's interesting that in the Godot code, in the GD script, they have all this syntactic sugar. And you could just get a function, or get a node and invoke functions on it. This works. But here in native land, you have to do a little dance. You use a call function, which also existed in the GD script. But here you have to be a little bit more explicit. Could be interesting to have this be a little bit more of a macro. It would be nice to have it be a bit more of a macro because things like Godot error would be great to have line numbers. Like where did this error actually happen? That would be pretty cool. All right, that's for another time. So for now, we did welcome. Oh, no, we're going to do welcome. Okay. Let's figure out, how do we actually get what we have in the old project into the new project? How do we copy a scene across? Can I open two Godots? Can I just import scenes from the other one? Oh, and I was able to get the build stuff, the build pipeline working correctly, and one of the things I did there, come back in the native library bits, I added, instead of just OS 10, the 32-bit and the 64-bit, I added 64-bit or 64.debug and 64.release that went to the debug and the release targets. But by doing that, it breaks the export settings. So then you have to go into export, and in the feature set, say, oh, well, this is going to be release feature, and it needs that in order to be able to find this library down here. Otherwise, it's just looking for 64, and that doesn't really match to anything because I nuked it. What if I could do that differently, and that I do a 64 on the bottom, because it looks at this top down. I'll probably do 64.debug and then just 64 for this one. I'll have to try that later. Okay. So, come back to Godot. I want a second one in here. Second Godot. I don't really want to rebuild those UIs at the moment. Could. Alright. Let's probably just do a little bit of this in file system. A new tab. Source, oh, not server, client. It's out of here. Where's welcome? Ah, there it is. Copy that to legacy scenes. Welcome. Scenes. Welcome. Ah, okay. So we need UI theme. Fix that. Good. Okay, now we're just missing the one. Fix dependencies. Gonna open anyway. Oh, I don't have the Roboto form. Let's fix that real quick. So that's in the UI theme. Copy-R. Let's make a directory first. Make dir legacy fonts. Got all the Roboto stuff in there. That should be okay. I did want them in their own little directory though. Fonts Roboto. Is it Roboto or Roboto? I think it's Roboto. I think I saved the other one though. Legacy fonts, Roboto. Say it can't rename itself, that's fine. Fonts, good. Back to Godot, fix the theme. Default font. Load. See. So it's a new dynamic font. Font. Really, did we have all that before? Must have. I don't see it on the disk. Alright, let's do a bitmap font. Hey, Cat Peasant, how's it going? I don't remember how to set up a bitmap font. I ascend. Where do I actually choose a font? Oh, okay, I think this needs to be a dynamic font. There we go. Font, font data, new dynamic font data. Font path. There we go. Fonts, Roboto. Let's go with regular. Going all right. I'm happy to be at it again. We have a dynamic font. Okay. Settings font size. It's going to be huge. It's like 32 or something. There we go. Better. Let us save. Looks so much better. Isn't the 32 was actually too big, but whatever. Oh, and in case I forgot, Chambers Games, thank you for the follow yesterday. I don't think I mentioned that yesterday. Or you followed me after I stopped streaming. Okay, now we have the welcome scene here. We're going to attach a script. It's going to be a native script. Control, welcome. Last name, welcome. All right. Well, we'll save that. We play this scene. Welcome button. Oh, I don't have all my localization stuff. Ooh, let's set that up. Where was that? That was in I18N. Over here. That's right. And how do we set that up in the project though? Let's copy that across. Copy -R. And then project settings. It's like one of those things that you do at the very beginning and then forget about it thereafter. Category. Oh, localization. Of course. Translations. I think we do this one. Either that or I got it backwards. Am I supposed to be going Which way am I supposed to be going on that? Oh, I think it's fine because you give it the translation and then it calculates everything else from that. Fine. Try running this again. Nope. Try again. Oh wow, locale filter. Oh, that's awesome. There we go. I have English. Oh, and I probably didn't show that. Resize that a bit. Go. Great. Now we have the localizations back in there. Let's get these wired up. And when we click these buttons, we'll have all that in Rust. I'm going to clone this scene. Hold on. Duplicate. Godot. Game. And this one is going to have game window. This one isn't. There we go. Okay, back to the code. But first, start at lib. We're going to add mod welcome. And we will add welcome. Source. Welcome.rs. Struct welcome. Oh, and I got Rust Analyzer working. Watch this. Oops. Implement welcome. Ta-da. Okay. We're going to need GD native. Trying to remember what these are before I go look. Okay, nope, it's not happening. Derive native class. Okay. What is that control that I am inheriting? Is that go look. So here this, oh, I guess it is a control. I did not rename that. Normally I rename them to like welcome because that's a scene name. Okay, back to the code. That's control. We have methods. And we have to have init. That's expected. Hey, Carter, good morning. We're not going to do anything with the control in there. That's fine. Let's see. Does welcome need signals or anything? Here we have class welcome extends control. When it's ready, we get some buttons. Oh, local storage stuff. Gonna need this one too. How's it going, Carter? You had pho yesterday. How was it? All around our neck of the woods. It's fantastic. Oh, maybe we should do the local storage one first. What are we actually doing here? We have a dictionary, new file. This looks like a little map interface to this dictionary that gets serialized into that file. Okay, I'm gonna check and see. We have a file in here. Oh, we do. Okay. Interesting. Now, does that implement like doesn't implement right? Oh, wait, here it doesn't. Okay. We'll have to store a string or store something that we can actually parse. Oh, look, open encrypted. Huh. It has text, get buffer, fine. All right, let's go do that one because that's a dependency here. This should work. It's kind of empty for welcome. Do local storage. Hey, 75209. How's it going? Resolve the module. Oh, I misspelled it. There we go. Derived from native class. Inherit from node. Oh, I'm in the wrong. No, it's probably node or something. Thank you, Cat Peasant. So this is local storage. We're going to have that and probably some other little bits to go along with it. I'm just gonna grab oh, what's that one? Derive, native class, and inherit control. Sorry, bouncing around a little bit. Native class, derive. Mismatch type, expect destruct, control, found, node. Ah, here. Yes, because this don't match. It's not always obvious with these macros. Okay, now what we're trying to port here, check to see if a file exists. If it does, we open it in read mode and parse the dictionary. Looks like we're just using a JSON parser here. Interesting. Does Godot ship with a JSON parser? Let's just search for parse. They do it. They have a XML parser. Interesting. And what about... Well, they do have a map type. Oh, it's a trait. That's not what I was looking for. I'm actually looking for the object that is the direct translation. This code, dictionary. Look for dictionary. Okay. And then they have a toJSON object on the, or member function on that. That's nice. We don't have to pull in like Saturday on this. Keep the shipping code size down. All right, but these are member functions, so we're going to need that. Local storage. Come on, there we go. Okay. File is file and dictionary. It's a dictionary. Our file name here. This is our file name, local storage file name. Set that up as a const. This is going to be static stir reference. Well, it looks like we're just opening and closing the file on every operation. Well, on save, really. So when we load up, we just open it, read it, done. I don't think we actually have to keep that around. What is the point of actually keeping this? The dictionary, sure. The file, no. If we're just going to open and close it. Check on file real quick. Yeah, this is like exactly the same stuff. Let this is strange, but I get it. Wait, is that correct? Yes, yes, that's correct. Well, that has to be a Godot string. We have our dictionary. We have this from stir. It's a dictionary in there. Mismatched types. Oh yes, it is currently unit type. That's fine. I don't know what I like better, matching with true and false. So if it's true, we'll do that. If it's false, we'll just have some empty dictionary. Now in this case, we get the file as text, close it, and parse the text. How do we take this from JSON and go to that? So if we do have JSON, go back to the browser. We can parse JSON, and it'll give us a parse result. Then we can cast that to a Godot object. Right. All right, so then we just cast it to a dictionary and hope for the best. Very not used to that at all. So parse text. What does that give us? Was it an option? It was just parse. JSON.parse gives us an option of the result. This one here, get as text. Oh, we didn't do the open. Is there an open function on this? Is it static? Or excuse me, is it a member function? Check. Yep. Okay. It's just like that. And we take our Godot string. And we need to give it some flags. So the mode flags in this case, it's just going to be read. So file.read. There we go. And open takes 1, 2, 3. Okay. Yep. Oh, actually, it doesn't. You don't use it like that. Say open the file, and you can handle an error if it does happen. So if we have our error, great. That's going to be a storage file name, followed by error. And then we'll return. Or not. Yeah, let's just return an empty dictionary. Does this return from the function or the met? No, okay, this is from the function. Yeah, we'll do a kind of embedded match then. There, we'll return that. File, we get it as text, close the file. I wonder if Godot would close that file automatically when it goes out of scope. There's no harm in being explicit here, but all right. Now this returns what? Nope. Oh, interesting. How do we actually use this? Oh, we get the Godot singleton of the JSON parser. So we get that, and then we call parse on it, which gives us an option that we can then map or do whatever on. Okay. I don't know why we would call cast on the Godot singleton. I mean, unless parse is like converting that object into something else, which seems odd. All right. Go singleton parse. What are we going to cast this to? We're going to cast this to the dictionary, I think. Oh, Godot object is not implemented for dictionary? Okay. Oh, and that one has the option. Well, that and we can't cast it anyway, so fine. All right, maybe there's something on dictionary that can take this. Oh, variant to dictionary. Try to dictionary. So here we have dictionary. Clear contains all, yada yada. Yep, set to a variant. We have two JSON, but no opposite. Let's go to the official documentation on dictionary. Oh, I mean the JSON parsing. That is incredibly not helpful. Hmm. For example, usage and other important hints, see JSON parse result. Okay. Contains decoded JSON or error information. Check to see if it's okay or not. It has properties, errors, yada yada, and it has a variant, it has a result. And that variant, I guess we could take a different type. Okay, so if we come back here, with parse, we get our JSON parse result. JSON parse result. Get error, interesting. I wonder if I have to check that, or if, where was it? See, I was thinking that the option itself was going to let us know that, hey, it parsed or not, but I guess the JSON parse result also tells us whether or not it parsed. I don't know why we have the option on the other side. Maybe give it some empty thing, it just gives you nothing back. Which seems odd. It seems like it should give you some sort of nil or null or whatever. And a successful parse. So we should be able to go to variant from variant. So we can take the parse result to a variant and the variant to a dictionary. All right. So we get the text, we parse. If it's a none, do that. If it's something, the parse result, not doing that anymore. This is a lot for this. I mean, it's like, am I just missing all of this logic down here? Are these holes that are missing? I guess so. Like I didn't handle the case where I couldn't parse JSON before. Like if it was corrupt or something. What did this become? Was this dictionary a valid dictionary? Was it going to blow up if parsed some garbage or some disk read error? I think this is definitely more thorough. But I think it should be like a load function, kind of like the opposite of the save function. And I want to try to test this. Actually, that's one of the reasons I'm looking forward to using Rust in this, because I like their testing frameworks. I'd like to extract this in a little bit after we get the port done. Be able to test this, convert this into just some load function where we could, pass it a file or whatever it is. So function load. I'm going to give this. It's not going to take self. Not going to be exported, but we will pass it. file name into something that could be converted into a Godot string and returns a dictionary. Okay, we'll do that conversion. Expected value found macro file. Oh, because I didn't create the file. I left it down here. Okay, and if we're doing it this way, it's going to be a lot easier. We can keep this a bit flatter, actually. So in this case, if it doesn't exist, we return a dictionary. Done. We'll do the same thing here. If I'm not sure if it will actively close, which is why I'm leaving this around. Does file have a destructor? Does it have drop? Oh, it does have drop. Oh, okay, it's not going to show us a code for it, but it does have one. We're not gonna close it. delete those two lines. In this case, we do the parse. It's either going to be something or nothing. If we get nothing, we return that. Otherwise, we get the parse result. Now, in the case of the parse result, let me pull those docs back up. JSON parse result. Browser. We need to check for an error. Handle that. Dump that to the Godot error, whatever it is. We call get result. If there is an error, what is the result going to be? Good question. Good question. Right, so first, get error. If we do have an error, we'll deal with it and return, otherwise we'll get the result. That returns a Godot error. Now parse local storage. Is Godot error, does it implement display? Debug. Okay. We'll toss one of those on there. Then we will also toss on there the error string and the error line. What was it? Get error line. Yeah, that returns an I64. It's fine. Want in here. This is going to be. It's a Godot string. Yeah, get error string. And does Godot string implement display? No. Why not? And we return a dictionary here. If everything is okay, then we take the parse result, get the variant, or was that? Get result. That returns a variant. Dot. What am I coding today? He sounds weird. And yes, I'm a hobbyist game developer. Unless it's Mr. Awesome and I just happen to be a game developer. Whatever. But no, I'm not Mr. Ross. The Let's see, we're working on Legacy. If you haven't seen it before, it's um, oh goodness, do it. I built a little Twitch bot. No. Is it even up? Oh, it's up 16 hours. Wow, Twitch is a little iffy. But basically, it's a kind of a world exploration thing. It's a procedurally generated world where you have this universe created of islands, and you're trying to explore and build things and do whatever. But we had a version of this, and it was all done with Godot on the client because it's a multiplayer game. I had Rust on the server, and I was using Rust on the server, Godot on the client with GD script. I'm going through the little process of converting the GD script actually into Rust code. So I'm going to be using um, oh, well, thank you, the Geek Pirate. I didn't notice that before. That's cool. Um, but we're converting it into Rust code. Just going through this, seeing what it's like. Thus far, I like it. I think it's actually covering more edge cases, and I think that once it compiles it, it mostly just works. So far, it's been really nice. There's a couple little edge cases where if you panic, it doesn't seem to do anything, and it's got a lot of unsafe blocks. I guess that's just kind of par for the course. So in this case, is there a work in progress or screenshots? Actually, there is, which hardly actually go to my own stream here. Charles is live. We're going to go to the clips. If you look in here, we've got, oh, not from like just all the clips. Or did I call them something else? Are they highlights? I feel like so new to Twitch, just trying to do some of this stuff. But yeah, so if you look in here, this little guy, he can move around, and he's got this procedurally generated world that he moves around in. This is a really, really old one, although Connor there, that's what I call the little dude. He hasn't really changed. But part of what I want to do with Rust is actually get into more dynamically generated world. So instead of it just being all flat, it's going to have a little bit more texturing to it. Um, um, I think there are some more recent clips, but I don't really have the time to go dig through them at the moment. Let's see, so we're going to get the result here, and we're going to take this variant and try to convert it into a dictionary. So how do we do that? We say, oh, back to the browser. Good. We get the parse result. We get the result. Oh, that's set result. We don't want a set result. Oh, that's so weird that you can take a parse result and set the result on it. Okay, why would you do that? All right, so in this case, any of the core types, yada yada, and we want to go to a dictionary. Possibly returning a default value. Okay. So we'll just call it to dictionary. It looks like it'll always return a dictionary. Otherwise, we could say this, but I don't think we need anything special in the dictionary. The empty default one is going to be fine if it doesn't work. Back to the code. dictionary. There we go. And this is going to be local storage. Load. What do we call that? Storage file name. Oops. We're going to load storage file name into something called dictionary. Good. And now this should let me test it. I wonder what happens with these things if you run them outside of Godot. Can I actually run that? If I create a test module. Have a load test. Super. Yeah, I know we're not using anything from that. Local storage load does not exist. Is empty actually exist on there? I don't know. Oh, native class method, not a, okay, foreground. Oh, I see, it's private. Abstract, and same with welcome. Oh, it was trying to alert me. Quick fix that. Good. Head code, dictionary, never used. That's fine for now. API not bound. There we go. Okay, so that's... I guess I should have expected that. Interesting. So I can test code that doesn't actually have any Godot code in it, any of the Godot APIs in it. It would be fine. I just have to be a little bit more cautious on how I do that. Either that or I test these inside of Godot. There is a nice little test runner inside of Godot. I think with enough foresight, I could actually do that. Okay. In which case, if this is going to just happen in Godot, Godot doesn't like it when you export functions that have generics in them. Okay, so oh, okay, we'll see. Get rid of that for now. I kind of want that to be exported. All right, let's see. How do we export them again? Let's go look at, not extensions, let's look at scene manager. Oh, we just call export. Okay, easy enough. Local storage. Export load. Now this doesn't actually take a self. I should. What was the pattern? It was owner after that. I don't think that node is the right thing here. It's local storage. I don't think we attach that to anything. It's just a script that's available. Should be able to instantiate it. We just extend from object. We'll see if that works. You're not going to be happy? Ah. Oh, but no, our load function, of course. Well, that's interesting. I hadn't considered this before. What does this look like in GDScript? Is that how you make a static function in GDScript? I don't know. Let's see. What's there? We go to Godot. Okay. If we run this, we get redirected to this. What happens is we load Bootstrap. All Bootstrap does is it runs this logic inside of Bootstrap. When it's ready, it looks for the scene manager and says, scene manager, go to this other scene. Fine, cool, whatever. And that takes us to the welcome scene. Now the welcome scene, which you can see here, I hope, has a couple little login buttons, a little development toggle in the bottom right. So it did run some Rust code. It redirected us from one place to the other. We don't have any output or errors yet. It's good. We can remote inspect. We can see that we have a scene manager. We also have the welcome object. However, what I'd like to do is just for a quick test. Let's see on the welcome object. Okay, I'm going to stop running that. Just going to toss a script on the panel, whatever. Add a script, not native, GD script, your panel. I'm just going to call it test. Test.gd, create that, extends panel, great. When this is ready, I want to say local storage. Expected identifier as member. Dot load testing. Local storage isn't declared. Okay. Did we get that wired up? Local storage here, local storage there. What am I missing? Oh, I need a script for that. Okay, the easiest way I found to create like this unbound script If we create a new scene, and with an other node, whatever, or user interface, doesn't matter. And then we click on the little add script button on the right over there. Say, hey, we want a native script. Inherits from object. Last name is local storage. The path is going to be scripts directory, all that. Local storage. Create that. I think now we have combining it. Now, I'm not going to save that scene. I just created the scene in order to click that little button over there. Not save that. But if we come over to the test panel here, parser, identifier local storage isn't declared in the current scope. Huh. How do we use a class that we declare elsewhere? If we click on panel, do we get node? Description. I don't see any of the properties from local storage on there. Oh, no, we didn't attach local storage to that. That's fine. What was the way to, like, was it preload? I forget what it is. I thought it was something like preload. Returns a resource. You can load a scene or something else. Project. I'm gonna quit back to the project list for a moment. Import. Browse. Source. Legacy. Client. That one. Oops. Make sure we get you over to the code here. This is the old one. The layout's a little different. Got a lot of different things that I'm hoping to be able to rewrite in here. Some of these are cyclical, they're just gross. A lot of cruft on them. We go to, let's say, login. Global, no, we've got global. It's using global. Global's defined here. It extends from node. So why won't that work for us? Oh yes, and how are we going to do the yield stuff in Godot? Project, let's quit back. Yep. Let's fix the scaling on that. Okay. So inside of Godot, go back into our scripts, our local storage object. Oh, the library is empty. Library, load. I forgot about that. Script class, local storage, resource, save. Now it might be available. Go back over into test. Rid of that, local storage dot. Now we create a new one. Load. Foobar. Ah, no way. Foobar is going to be equal to that. And then debug. Foobar. Oh, misplaced const. Bar. Let's see, non-existent function load in base native script. It doesn't like it that way. I don't think colon works like this. No, that doesn't even parse. Which is why they have that kind of awkward global singleton thing. Go back to the code. We have local storage. I'm going to create dictionary just as a blank dictionary. Dictionary new. Okay. Now here, we'll take a self and owner. Okay, allow some dead code, good. So now we create one of these things, then we can call load on it and get the dictionary. Or it loads into itself. Delta dictionary is going to be equal to a dictionary new. Oops. Okay. Build that again. Oh yes, we need a local storage first. a new one of those. Storage is going to be equal to that. Non-existent function, load. At least they're giving us some nice info there. At least they're telling us that the function doesn't exist when we're trying to call it, which is great. Yeah, but why does it not exist now? Create new local storage, and it should get called. Oh, sorry, I left you in the console. So init will get called. Basically, it was telling me that load didn't exist. I think it's because that. Something about the name angling there. Oops. I'm hitting some strange key today. I don't know what it is. And we're not calling that. No errors. Ah, we got a null back. Yeah, let's run it. Interesting. Okay. I'm not sure how I feel about having some of the code like testing inside of GD script, some of it testing inside of Rust. I imagine for things that are generating data, things like that, it would be fun to test them just on the Rust side. I'm gonna have to build up some layers here. But yes, foobar doesn't exist. It's fine. Yeah. Right. Where did we leave off? So we got init, kind of, and it's actually a little different now. Now when we create a local storage object, it doesn't actually load it. So we'll have to do init, then load, and save. Because I do want it testable. I wonder if there's a nice pattern for being able to pass optional elements into here. Like what if I wanted an option Godot string? And then in here, I could do something like use the default if you're just calling load. Play around with that just a bit. Let file name equal to let's see what is the option on Oh my goodness. Too many tabs. Nope. Ah, here we go. So on the option object, applies a function to the contained value if any, or computes the default if not. Unwrap or else, I think is what I want. Okay. And this just takes a function, and we will give it a Godot string from stir, storage file name. Because this could be an interesting way of like providing default functions or default types. Hey, oh, file name's optional. Don't give it to us. We'll use whatever's built in. Let's see if that. Let's see if that would work. Back to Godot. Okay, no, we didn't. Let's try that without a function. Oh, we still got null there. Interesting. Okay, go back to the code. Oh, nothing. Debugger. Oh, what is this? Ah, incorrect number of parameters. Expected 1, but got 0. No. Okay, so we can't do that. What if we provide nil? Was it null here? I wonder what happens if we get the type wrong. Okay, so yeah, there it did use the other type. Okay, so no default function parameters. That would have been cool though. Let's provide two functions. One, which is called load, and it loads the default thing. The other, which is specifically like load file, or load from file, something like that. There we go. File, yes, we'll pass owner through, and our file name will be there we go. Now we have load and load file. I wonder if load file should. got that. Go back to, oh, not the browser. Godot. Yeah. What do we get? Oh, we had load with null. Not correct. Start it again. Yep. It loaded nothing. That's fine. Load doesn't actually return anything, so it's expected. And then if we say load file, this should also work. Yes. Okay, and that works. Okay. So we have that. Let's also do save now. I'm going to move these down below. Want them after init. There we go. Oops, too far. Save. Kind of want like a response. Did it save? Boolean? True, false? Like some of these errors. Maybe they should be propagated out. Have to think about that. Okay, so for save, do this a little bit here. Do I have to have a new file? Hmm. Is that going to give us just a result type? Oh shoot, you were in the browser. This is what I'm looking at the moment. Trying to do the part of the save function. We open a file, store it, just close it. Okay, that's all. The dictionary has a 2JSON on it. That should be fine. We're going to create a new file. Let this open. Does that actually return a result or some other type? File. There we go. There we go. If let error. So if there's an error, we're going to log it. What was that other function? Was it ref, new ref, new, yeah, new ref. Go, now we have a new file name. Okay, oh, that's if we can open it. Store a string. Actually, let's take that out to a local. There we go. We'll do the same thing as before. Say file owner, file name. All right, now we need set, get, has, and delete. These we can delete. I wonder what sort of values we should take. Key. Should probably be strings. Put a string. The value. Some variant. Looks like it can do variant. Now that hadn't dawned on me before that I can take these by reference. Anyhow. There's set. Yeah, we're going to be a little bit more restrictive than there. Yeah. Ooh, interesting. We can get a reference to it. What color scheme am I using today? That's a good question. This is Challenger Deep. It's the same one as before. Expected. Fine. And welcome to the stream, pseudocode. Oh, well, thank you. And if you're interested in the dot files, I think I've got. There we go. It's not exactly my dot files. Set dot files. That should be just the first part of that. There we go. I'm using Kitty along with Fish Shell and a NeoVim. We're going to do an export on that. All right, now for has. Oh, come on, do that again. Does it not have a has? Oh, it has a contains. There we go. We have set, we have get, we have has. And now for delete. It's going to be immutable self. Yeah, you're welcome. Get a couple things up there. I think it's mostly up to date. At least the color scheme stuff is. Self.dictionary.contains. There we go. Erase key. And what's this return actually? Does it throw if it can't find it? Now let's check Godot. Dictionary. Methods. Erase returns a boolean. Why didn't I just return that straight? And this seems like it should work. Oh. Because erase doesn't return a bool. Huh. Shoot. All right. Left in Godot again. All right, so here we go. So we have delete. We have to check to see if it contains the key so that we can return true or false. We'll have kind of like a double look up there. One for contains, the other for erase, whatever. Be okay. We'll return true or false, and I think that finishes up local storage. Load file was a lot more code than it had been. All in all, I think it's actually verbose, but for good reason. Why? What's going on here? Rate bound, right, is not. Oh, it doesn't want me to take these by reference. My Vim fingers aren't on today. Tab. There we go. Expected a reference to a variant, found variant. Okay, give it that. Now expected struct variant found. What does this do? This returns a copy of the value corresponding to the key, as opposed to a reference to it. I think that's more I want anyways. From variant. Okay, not satisfied. The following implementations were found. Ah, I missed one. Okay, that was fine. I didn't know that we couldn't take things by reference there. That's good to know. Give it a build. On. Okay, that does run. Go back to whatever it was, test. Got a test script around here somewhere. Load file, couldn't load the file. Set. Hello, world. Or greeting. Alright. We got hello world. Lovely. Okay, so it's storing and doing that stuff. I'm going to save it. Load file. And still get hello world. Great. Yeah. We're gonna go ahead and stop that. Better. Where's our plugins? I want the project settings, plugins. Where is it? Oh, asset library. There we go. I'm gonna search for test. Was it GU test? Oh, what was it called? Show me anything. Okay, so it does actually list things. I'm surprised that test doesn't return anything. I thought that in the other project I'd been using something test, G something test. Search for G. Oh, a lot of stuff. The GUT? Godot unit test. Okay, so it's GUT. Got it. We're going to download that. Install it. Sure. So now if we go back, project settings, we have this. That is, want it to be active. Close. We will close the asset library. And now let's create some unit tests. That. Gonna be over here. Go unit tests. Simple install via the asset library. Great. Wow. Amazing. Creating tests. Cover the contents of test unit that. Run your scene. This looks pretty cool. Command line methods. Oh, they have command line stuff. Nice. The build machine. We'll definitely do that. Okay. What about simulate? What's simulate? Oh, for the physics stuff. Yeah. All right. I was actually hoping for like how you should set it up, what your folder structure should look like. Group tests together using inner classes. I see. So feature A, feature B, etc. It extends from that. We have our object under test before each test something. Got it. All right. Let's create a unit test. Need a new folder. Folder. Test. I think it's just test, wasn't it? Test unit. Okay. Test unit. New script. Not going to be native script, GD script. This is going to inherit from... Sure, node for now. I'm going to call this... we have to name them a specific way? Does it need to be test underscore? Look at the browser again. Okay, almost there. Creating tests. All tests must extend the class that. It's optional setup and teardown. All tests in the test script must start with test. Okay. Good. All right, fine. Local storage. Okay. Back to Godot. Get rid of that. Now we write a test. Func test. Test food. Test load. Test storage, whatever. Okay, I'm just going to toss a assert in there. Assert equals 1 and 2. There we go. And we need a scene. So there's going to be add-ons, GT. I think it's this one. Play this scene. No scripts available. Okay. Ooh, a little window. We can drag it around. However, okay, but it's not finding our scripts. Does that show it? Just realized you couldn't see it. Okay, yep. No scripts available. A little test harness. Okay, something isn't right then. Thanks, Captain Obvious. So we have test, we have unit, and something. Test, unit, example. All right, let's just drop everything that they had into our test. Still nothing. I feel like I missed a step. Okay, let's check real quick. Put extension, yada yada, license, install. Why not? Did it activate? Okay. Project settings. Okay, create these folders, unit and integration. Already seen that we'll use Godot to run your tests. Okay, that I didn't do. Let's do that. Test. New scene. Tests. Yep, there's our test scene. We run it. We still get nothing. Let's keep going with the browser a bit. I didn't create the integration folder, but I didn't think that was necessary. I'm going to go ahead and do that. New folder, integration. Integration and unit. Configure GUT to find your test. Select it in the scene tree and set the following settings on the inspector. Okay, so that's the magic bit missing. Let's click in here, go to scene, have that. Yeah, so we have these directories in here that are not set. The directory 1 is set to our unit test IC, so we can have a bunch of different directories in here. Wow, they have a lot of settings in here. Export path, inner class prefix. Oh, I see. So if we have inner classes, we have to prefix them with test. It's very configurable. Put on load, sure, why not? Cool. All right. Let us save and run it. Hey, look at that. Okay, so we have some tests that failed. Perfect. Ooh, verbose, more or less verbose. Fancy. Gonna close that. Go back to our tests, file system, local storage. Yep, don't care about that at the moment. All right, so at this point, let's get, see, we need a local storage object. Create a new one of those. Let's see. Oh, look at all these. Insert false. Storage dot as that should be false. Storage dot set. Insert true. Just run it. Oops, wrong one. Hey, 2 passed, 0 failed. Good. Oh, this is handy. All right, so what were the other functions that we have in there? Test as to now delete that key. Was it remove? I don't remember. Oh, and delete. It was delete. And that returns true or false. Insert true there. Okay. Oh, nice. And it also shows them down here in the output window. Oh, that's awesome. It passes. Ship it. Yes. Hey, Museum, how's it going? We're actually doing Rust in with Godot. Converting stuff. Having some fun, playing around with it. All right, what are we missing? So we got has, delete, that. Am I missing something? Delete, has, get, set. Oh, and save and load. Yeah, that should definitely return like some sort of Boolean so we can insert this. Save file. Storage. Should probably also have some sort of delete file for that. Let's go to the code. Code file. That should return a bool. Did it work or did it not? False. False. Ooh, this one's interesting. In this case, handle that separate. I don't really like this pattern. So I'm basically doing the same 2 lines in like 4 or 5 different places in here. think this is an error if it returns none instead of something in that. I don't think it's actually ever going to get hit. I think it's just the API probably had some sort of pointer and it had the possibility of being null. Oops. There we go. Oh, interesting. Just have the mutable one. And maybe we shouldn't be instantiating the or overwriting with an empty dictionary if this does fail. I think, where's init? Init's up here. So we start out with an empty one anyways. If we load, say, the regular one, it's fine, then we try to load something else on top of it to clobber it. And we probably shouldn't just be setting ourselves to empty one again. Actually, that's better. Just error and say false. And then only if it is success do we actually set it. I think that's more honest, the API, than what I had before. And in this case, this is the only place where we create a dictionary. But I like the use of mutable dictionary option. Yeah. All right, and save probably the same way. Return a bool, so we can test that. All right, I got Clippy in my ear now. Oops. Have you been musing? All right. Build that. Yeah, busy. Busy's good. Ah, should we load file? Well, let's toss a delete in there too. So I think this is going to persist between runs. Oops, wrong one. Yeah, so we got things running. If we do it again, it fails. So you can see we ran it twice. And the second time it ran, the storage failed because of the true on the load. So this is actually persistent. All right. We're going to export function delete. I already have a delete. Delete file. So is that, yeah, we just need self for that. They have this interesting concept where these files here, these Rust files, are actually what they call scripts, and the scripts are attached to nodes or basically objects that are in the kind of Godot environment. And your script could have its owner change, which is just strange to me, but it's possible. Which is why you have an owner object that's passed always as a second parameter. You have yourself, you have what you're attached to, and then any other arguments. Create a new file, and then if the file exists, delete it and return true. Let's take a peek at their API and delete. Is it? Do they have a delete? Construct file exists. Close. Oh, they don't have a remove. Wow. Like a delete and remove. Yeah, they've got all sorts of stuff. Sort Pascal string. Yeah. What is that? That's a string that has its length before. These Pascal strings, I think, have are yeah, length limited. I'm just surprised that they don't have any delete. You can open a file. Okay, can I open it for removal? Let's open their official docs on this. Yeah, I think they are C strings. under the hood. There's no delete. Back. Oh, to delete a save game. Yes. Very good. Oh, interesting. You have to use directory. Wow. Okay. What directory? Oh, I see. Directory also has file exists. It has remove, rename. Okay. So if it exists, is remove. Ah, it does have a result. Okay. So first check to see if it exists. What's the error? Is the remove? Yeah. Okay. Unit type for the positive. They also don't implement display for Godot string, which I thought was strange. This may be missing an else clause. But oh, this one. Yeah, yeah. Okay. Oh, wait. That's if the file doesn't exist. False. Okay, and that's already been used. New ref on that. Oh, I'm gonna rename this to remove. Hey, you know what? There's other things that we should probably do if we. I don't know if we say delete and we're deleting local storage. Do we expect that our dictionary goes away too? I think so. create a new dictionary. Only on success. There we go. Okay, so if we build that, cargo build, go back to Godot, that build, good. Just to clean up. So if we do that twice, the second one could be false. And we shouldn't need that. Well, we need it once, actually. Run it. We should. Nope, didn't run the right scene. There we go. Unit tests, and asserts passing. Run it again and again. Good. What if we crank that open? Look, we got it passed. Okay. Now we should be able to get rid of this. Run it again. And again. Good. Everything passes. I'm glad that works. It's too bad that we can't have more testing in here. And I understand that, okay, the file object is Godot specific. I have to be running inside of Godot in order for that API to actually work. But I do think that I should look for opportunities to have tests inside of Godot, and excuse me, inside of Rust code. Probably for more of like the world generation and stuff like that, where I'm not actually invoking Godot code. Yeah, well that's good. So we got that. I think I can get rid of the scene. Was it this file? Yeah, this file. Get rid of that file. Delete. Oh, cancel. Okay, let's remove it from the scene first. Welcome. I tossed it on some element in here. What was it? It was on the welcome scene. Oh, wrong file. Scene. Your script. There we go. Save that. Go back to the file system and delete this file. So we have unit test set up. We don't need that anymore. Yeah. Testing that. We're not testing Scene Manager though. I don't think there's a lot we can do with testing that because it's really just about swapping scenes. It's really small. Okay. Now that we have local storage, let's go back to welcome. Welcome had a bit more code to it. And this is why we built out local storage. We needed it in welcome. Fairly simple. We have signals. Listening to signals. Huh. Oh, this will be neat. Okay. Oh yeah, these here get wired up as signals in the UI. I wonder what the performance difference is between like running Godot code, like the GD script, and then Rust code. I'm going through here and just converting the code that I currently have, just get a good feel of what it's like. I don't think that this is necessarily the best way to make a project like this. I think having simple little scripts like this are just fine to manage a menu scene. Right, so welcome, we have ourself for our ready function. It's gonna look like this. Oh yes, it's unsafe ready. We're just exporting it normally. Okay. See, we do need owner here. What is owner? It's going to be a control. You can see that on line 4. What do we get here? Element.press. So we're setting the state of this object. The pressed value of that. Wonder if we should set this up slightly different. Like if the development button should be like some sort of argument or something else. No. I mean, it could listen to the signal. I don't know. Basically, what I'm trying to reason through right now is when this control, when this screen loads up, should the script code know that there is a widget on the screen named development? Okay. And if we come back here to Godot, load up. Oh, we were just there. Welcome, TSCN. This is the development button. Okay. And whether or not it's disabled, this button here. toggle it on and off, etc. Now, when we start up, what the code is trying to do is decide, okay, look in local storage. They already set whether or not we're in development mode. Interesting, is that the default? Oh, I don't think I did that. Not gonna work. This is in case the value doesn't exist, what should the default be? Huh, I didn't do that. Oh, here we have a default null. Okay, let's fix that up. Expected attribute item. Huh. I wonder why. Method, export. This seems okay. Scene manager. I think this one had it already. Yeah, owner, node, etc. Self, owner, control. Oh, function. There we go. Rust 101. All right. Use the right syntax. Scene manager. I'm going to go back to local storage because we have get, but we don't have get with default. And this here. Okay. Get or default. Take a variant. See get in this case. Self dictionary dot. See if it contains it. Key. Okay, so now we have a get or default, which is fine. Going back to welcome. I'm going to use node.ext. We will say owner. Get type to node. And the path here is going to just be development. What is that called? Scene. It's called development. It's at the top level. What kind of button is that? That's a... What type is it? It's a button. Okay. Button control. Maybe it looks like a toggle button or something else. Change type. Oh, it's a check button. Okay. Oops. So if we get a none here, we'll say Godot error. There we go. Hmm. Sure. Should we just return from that? Check button. It does exist. Lovely. It inherits from these elements. Okay. I don't know where this is. Oh, toggled. There we go. Can we just say set toggled or something? All right, so this is really a base button, not a toggle button, because of what we want. Toggled. With a D. Okay, button toggled. We set it to, let's try false. Make it mutable. Okay, I don't know. Let's see, let's try again. Oh, editor plugin. Error is true. Oh, interesting. It's trying to load some of the test runner. That's fine. Okay. Go back to the code. It could, you know what? That didn't work. So welcome here. Welcome. Library is not selected. Load. Native. Script class. Welcome. Good. Save. Run again. Uh-oh. I think it's dying. Yeah, something's crashing. Wow. That didn't go well. Last name is welcome. Welcome icon path, sure. Not sure what this local to scene means. Let's see. If true, the resource will be made unique in each instance of its local scene. Can this be modified in a scene instance without impacting other instances of that same scene? Interesting. Hmm. All right, so how do we debug a crash like that? Oh, I got the crash reporter just popped up. Yep, bad access, sig abort. Okay, it's because I invoked base button toggled. All right, probably on something that wasn't a base button. Go back to the code. Let's change that back to a check button. All right, so for check button though, we have to do that to base button upcast on it. We'll try it this way. We get our button. Assume that it doesn't have to be mutable if we cast it. That's strange. Interior mutability. There's also a function called set toggle mode. And I wonder if I'm just calling the wrong function on that. Okay, let's go back to Godot and give it another go. No, that's also pinwheel of death. All right. Go back to the code while that crashes. Oh, I see. We just make it just be ceremony. I'm gonna try set toggle mode on that. Well, yeah, because see,
Okay, and that worked. Apparently the underscore function versus this other function, not the same thing. You can see down here at the bottom where it says development. So if I click on it, it's supposed to persist, but right now it's set to off. Go back to the Godot, the Rust code. Was that? So it's off there. Here, set it to true. Let's see. I want to make sure that's actually what's going on. Okay, I ran it again, and yes, development is set to on now. Actually, that's set toggle mode. That lets me toggle it. Because before, when it was set to false, I couldn't toggle it. It didn't actually change its state. It's just, is it a toggle or not? You need to call set pressed. Whoa. Okay. No keys stuck. Give it another run. Okay, so now it's set to true. I can toggle it on and off. That's good. All right, a little bit of back and forth here. I just want to make sure I'm using the right function. All right, and I just swapped that out. We're going to run it again. It should be false now. Good. Okay, so now I know I'm using the right function. Go back to the code. Oh, I use local storage. Load here. Interesting. Okay. So how do I instantiate a local? Oh, that's so weird. It has init. But I just really want to call these functions. I don't really care. And that's not public. These aren't public at all. And what's the difference between init and new? A function. Does new get called if init? So what if I want to call this from which one? The export macro could rewrite it as pub. Oh, I see. Self there. It's called storage new. Oh, this is strange because I'm not going to have an owner object on this. If I wanted to use this from my other Rust code, how do I do that? Because Rust calling this is going to be different than Godot calling it. Wow. I don't even know what Godot passes into this. I don't have this code attached to any object. So that there really isn't any owner. Actually, that's interesting. Godot debug, owner. It doesn't rewrite it. So in this case, we have an owner. Well, let's see what this does. Expect the semicolon over here. Okay, we're going to leave that alone for a moment. Because if I want to use local storage in one of these other functions or these other classes, as I'm calling it a class, does implementing a struct in Rust make it a class in Rust terminology? Okay. We're going to see what that printout gives us. Let's load up tests. We did get an object, but what object? What did we get? Info blocks just add associated methods, associated types, implemented traits. Okay. I see. Yeah, that's the oh, there's a 4-letter acronym for that. I don't remember what it is. UFCS. Yes, yes. Okay, so we are getting an owner on this thing, even though it's not attached to anything. That's amazing. How does it choose? What does it choose? So we created a new one here, and it chose something. An object. It just create some random object? Okay. Regardless. How do we invoke one from the other? So let's say we did want to create an instance of a type. How do we construct one now? We just call new on that? Well, let's try it. Let's see. Let's see what happens. Because new is just by convention. If we call load, that's not going to work because it's private. Okay. One argument, but 0 were supplied. This is interesting. I'm surprised that turning something into a something that's interfaceable via GD script also makes it hard to call from Rust script or Rust code. It's almost as though I want to have some core type and then some Godot type. Oh, cargo expand. Oh, sure. I don't think I have that installed, but let's see. Ah, give it a moment. Ah, I'm also over time. So let's take a peek at this and see what it is. I'll probably go and do a little research on this to see what some good patterns are for it. Well, actually, while it's doing that, let's go look at their examples. Nope, not that one. Mob player HUD scene. Yeah, I don't think they're doing anything like this where they use some other class. I mean, I could probably just pass owner through and it's not going to care, but that seems dirty. I think for something like this, I do want to have kind of like the Rust interface for it and then the GD script interface for it. Hey, there we go. Oh, I was expecting syntactic coloring. All right, this again. We have terminate, empty. Scroll up a bit. Let's find something interesting. Welcome. Okay, so here's welcome. Let's go look at local storage if we can find it. Scene manager. Ah, here's local storage. Okay. Holy cow. All this. Hmm. Interesting that register properties is empty. Okay. Init calls base. Interesting. Yeah, so that calls the underscore init and the methods macro and pulls the native class trait. Okay, now this was my code here, which I was just attempting to do something. This here. What's going on here? Wow. Okay. I see. Then we have delete file. Ah, and here's more of that. Okay, so I must have had something left in there. Native. Hmm, interesting. I mean, most of the changes here are subtle. Um, it's the expansion of the format. Keep going. Save file. Yeah, we got those. As remove. Yeah, those are just straight through. Okay, now this stuff. Register. Catch, unwind. This stuff is actually frustrating because um, can't panic. I can't like cause things to blow up. Here, yeah. I'm just gonna scroll through. What is method equal to? Oh, delete file. That's how they're adding these. So they basically build these wrappers around each functions, checking the arguments of what's being passed in. I see. My goodness. I see. So really they're doing some sanity checking and making sure that the parameters match. Types probably. Keeping Godot from dying if we panic. Huh. Well, that's cool. And then they just add method. I think we can also get a handle to that. Um, which is here. Godot wrap method, I see. That's pretty cool. Well, today I'll probably go through and figure out what a decent pattern would be for having non-owner elements. Probably having some sort of Rust type that I can use in other Rust libraries. Excuse me, modules. Because none of this uses any of the owner stuff. It implements two traits. Yeah, what I'm thinking is that we have like um, local storage that's available to Godot and one that's available to um, the other code, like welcome. We can just invoke it here load it up, get a value, go on. It's the dynamic nature. The intended inheritance is not easily implementable properly. Interesting. All right. Well, sadly, I got to get going. Um, it's been a lot of fun today. It is coffee time, and I think it's supposed to be 9 o'clock, but I forgot. Because I so tomorrow I'm probably going to try to stop at about 9 my time Pacific. Um, all right. Well, thank you all. I'm going to raid Whitlock here in a little bit. Um, I got to get going. So, until next time. Bye bye.
I am working on making a blog for my website